Hi everyone, and welcome back to Splash Page. Today we're going to take a look and try to determine whether or not Cecil and his forces ever really had a chance against Nolan. We know that in the show, Cecil kind of threw his henchmen and even himself at Nolan one by one, with the final Kaiju, or Cthulhu-looking guy, actually holding its own against Omni-Man until Mark decided to help. So the question is, if Cecil was able to plan a bit more and better use his forces, could he have stopped or even killed Nolan? So I think there's a long way to answer this and a short way to answer this, and the long way is probably a bit more fun. We know very early on that Omni-Man is the most powerful humanoid on the planet. In the first episode, he successfully takes out what would be considered the other 7 most powerful heroes on the planet. We know that Omni-Man does get pretty hurt during that fight, though. He does spend time in the hospital. But later in the show, when his plot starts to unravel, we see him very quickly take out all humans that stand in his way. We see him just shred the people that were hiding in his house and across the street. We also later see him very easily take out fighter pilots and planes. I don't think there are any purely man-made, man-held technologies that could stop Omni-Man. But that being said, there are 2 items that are coming up that are technically man-made that do a little bit more damage. So we have Nolan attempting to get across a large distance to talk to Mark before Mark hears about what has happened from anyone besides himself. And in doing so, Cecil attempts to hold off Nolan and really slow him down, and does through a few different avenues. The first is he's shot with this giant laser from space. The laser shoots from space down through Nolan, knocking him to the ground and also causing a ton of destruction in the area. We see birds dying from either direct contact with the laser or the way that the laser burned the oxygen around the area, causing these birds to die. We also see it pretty much burning up a small forest or small wooded area, including all the little mammals there. Nolan, though, stands up in the middle of this crater. Little worse for the wear. He does appear to have a nosebleed. So he flies up into space, flies through this laser several times, blowing it up. And again, all he gets out of this is a nosebleed, which is pretty impressive that they even got that much on Omni-Man. Next, he continues to fly, and Cecil, with his ability to teleport, that cost, I think he said something like $5 million every time he does it in the comics, shoots him with a gun. Again, we know that these laser guns really have no effect on Omni-Man, and Omni-Man says so. And then Cecil plays a little game of cat and mouse, being able to teleport right before moments where Omni-Man was about to kill him, whether it be through grabbing him, throwing rocks at him, or this awesome Hulk slam where the ground falls apart and falls towards him. I think this one is probably the dumbest out of everything, because Cecil is just an older gentleman, and he is completely relying on his reflexes to be able to hit the teleport button in time for Omni-Man not to kill him. If anything, this only gave him the ability to talk to Nolan, which, to be honest with you, might have been the best case scenario for stopping Omni-Man, by explaining to him what he's doing to his wife and what's going to happen to Mark once Mark finds out. So maybe this was the strongest opportunity to stop Omni-Man. But it doesn't. We know that Cecil then goes back to HQ, or back to the Pentagon, and they send the Reanimen after him. Now, if you remember, these guys are from earlier in the season, created by D.A. Sinclair, tortured and reassembled humans that now have extra strength because they are part cyborg, or they are cyborgs because they're part robot. And these guys actually do a little bit of work on Omni-Man, similarly to the way that Mark struggled with them. The thing is there's only 3. Omni-Man is able to pretty much rip them apart, and then in an act of pure brutality, he jams a camera into the remains of the human portions of these Reanimen, just to say a big F you to Cecil and his people. But it was impressive that the Reanimen were able to hold him down and hold their own for a little bit. Now again, like I said, there were only 3 of them. What might have been more effective if the numbers were higher, or once a few of them got a grip of them, more could come and kind of finish the job. But that being said, we saw a situation where Omni-Man was held up by Martian Man, and quite a few of the Guardians of the Globe were able to take some shots at him at that point and do some damage, and he was able to survive that and continue fighting. So again, I think the numbers of these Reanimen would have had to be in the hundreds to really stand a chance, and it's likely that all Nolan would need to do is to be able to fly, because the Reanimen can't fly, and he would have been fine. Finally, and I think the one that most people are most interested about, is the fight with the Kaiju, or the Cthulhu guy, and the reason I'm using both names is because the creature actually does not have a name, and I've seen him referred to in both ways on the internet. So in this fight, we are told before it starts that Omni-Man has defeated it before, but that before this fight, Cecil has essentially injected it with some kind of monster steroids, as well as taken away its inhibitors that sense pain. So that means that no matter what Omni-Man did to this creature, if he didn't kill it or knock it out, it would just still be attacking, because it's not feeling any pain, and therefore it has no fear. It does a pretty good job against Omni-Man. Now, remember where Omni-Man is coming from. He's gotten shot by that giant laser. The only external pain we saw is a little nosebleed, but that obviously could indicate some internal bleeding. We saw him take some pretty painful shots from the Reanimen, but again, he was able to thwart those guys pretty quickly. And now he's fighting a giant monster that doesn't feel pain and isn't afraid of him. So during this fight, we see a number of what would appear to be extremely painful blows. We see him stomp on him, we see him throw him into the ground, and then Mark comes in and kind of saves the day. So the question is, could this Kaiju monster, I think I just said monster, have beaten Omni-Man if Mark does not interfere? The honest answer is we don't know, but we can take away certain things from what we've seen, and that is A, no matter how hard the Kaiju hit Omni-Man, Omni-Man really didn't take any physical or visible damage. Doesn't even rip his costume. We also see Omni-Man later helping Mark in the Kaiju's teeth and pushing the mouth open, meaning that he has the strength to overcome probably the strongest muscles in this monster's body and doesn't really even break a sweat for it. And finally, we know Omni-Man has beat him before, so whether or not the Kaiju feels pain or is afraid, Omni-Man knows how to beat this guy. Here's the scenario that I would like your help with. If Omni-Man was forced to stay in a specific area and was fighting this Kaiju, as well as, say, a couple hundred Reanimen, and gets hit by that laser, could that have stopped or killed Omni-Man?
Hey Sean, I hear we have a new giveaway.
Absolutely. Right now we are giving away toys from Vox Machina.
Wow.
The amazing D&D inspired Amazon Prime show. We are giving away 2 toys. The first is a Vax toy and the second is a Percy toy. And we will be giving them away once we hit 2,500 subscribers.
That is very cool. Now I know we've done giveaways before, just to confirm, I can't win these, right?
You cannot win these.
All right.
But anyone that wants to win them, just make sure you subscribe to our channel and leave a comment on this or any of our videos and you'll be entered to win for free.
Good luck to you all.
Well, thanks everyone. Appreciate your time and we'll talk later. Take it easy, YouTube.